Ex-prisoners, what's the worst thing you saw in jail? The scariest person on our block wasn't some hardened gang member or violent offender. It was Officer Turner. Never yelled, never seemed angry. Just watched everything with those dead eyes like he was studying insects in a jar. I was 3 months in when I met Danny. Kid was barely 19, busted for selling weed to pay his mom's medical bills. Smart kid, kept his head down, did his time quietly. Had this baby face that made the older cons want to protect him, which probably saved his life more than once. Danny had this ritual. Every Tuesday at exactly 2 p.m., he'd call his little sister Isabel. She was 12, battling leukemia for the second time. Those calls were the only thing keeping him sane. He'd pace the cell for hours beforehand, practicing what he'd say, making up stories about the outside world to keep her spirits up. The kid never talked about his case, but I pieced it together from conversations. His mom was a single parent, worked double shifts at a diner just to make rent. When Isabel's cancer came back and insurance wouldn't cover the experimental treatment, Danny started dealing. Small-time stuff, just enough to help with the bills. Got caught on his third sale to an undercover cop. One Tuesday, Danny's frantic. I'd never seen him like this. Hands shaking, couldn't sit still. My phone privileges got revoked, he tells me, voice cracking. Isabel's having surgery tomorrow morning. She thinks I forgot about her. I asked why they were revoked. Danny's face went pale, and he looked around like Turner might be listening. Turner caught me with an extra dinner roll yesterday, said it was theft of state property. A dinner roll for a kid who gave half his portions to the older inmates who protected him, who never asked for anything in return except to be left alone. That night, around 9 p.m. when the block was settling down, Danny approached Turner during his rounds. I watched from my cell as the kid literally begged, got down on his knees right there in the hallway, asking Turner to let him make one call. Just 5 minutes to talk to Isabel before her surgery. Turner listened patiently, nodding along like he was really considering it. Then he got this slow smile that made my stomach turn. Tell you what, kid, I'll let you call if you clean my office. With your tongue. Danny stood there shaking, tears streaming down his face. His sister was going under the knife at 7 a.m. for a procedure that had a 50-50 chance of success. Turner just watched, enjoying every second of the kid's desperation, feeding off it like some kind of vampire. Other inmates were pressing against their cell doors now, watching this game play out. Nobody said anything. We all knew speaking up would just make it worse for Danny. I'll never forget Danny's face when he dropped to his knees, the way his shoulders slumped in defeat, the sound he made, not quite crying, not quite screaming. Turner unlocked his office door, and Danny crawled inside. 30 minutes later, Danny stumbled out, wiping his mouth with his sleeve. Turner handed him the phone with mock ceremony, like he was doing the kid some great favor. The call lasted 3 minutes. I could hear Danny's voice from my cell, high and forced cheerful, telling Isabel everything would be okay, that he loved her, that he'd call again soon. When he hung up, he just sat there staring at the phone for another 10 minutes. Isabel died during surgery the next morning. The chaplain came to deliver the news around noon. Danny never found out. They found him hanging from his bedsheet that same night, around 2 a.m. during Turner's shift. The official report said, failure to adapt to incarceration environment. There was a brief investigation that went nowhere. Turner told the review board that Danny had exhibited self-destructive behavior and had been flagged as a suicide risk. 2 weeks later, Turner got a commendation from the warden for maintaining order and discipline during a difficult period. I got out 6 months later. First thing I did was look up Isabel's obituary online. There was a photo of her smiling, wearing a Superman cape in some hospital playroom. The article mentioned her brother Daniel, who was unable to attend due to circumstances beyond his control. I still think about Isabel, waiting by the phone for a call that never came. And I think about Turner, probably still playing his sick games with some other desperate kid who just wants to talk to someone they love.